Amber.
Good morning.
Hi, it's Fabi from Tourism Tribe, and I'm with Amber Rogers here. Amber, tell us who you are and why you're with us today.
So I have a role which is volunteer. It's in the Discovery Coast Tourism and Commerce Organisation, and that's based in Agnes Water and 1770. We're in the Southern Great Barrier Reef, so it's in Queensland, and it's the Central Coast area where we have Gladstone as our local government and regional tourism body. What I do in that role coincides with some of the other work that I do in the general area, but it's very important to make sure the local tourism organisation is actually cohesive and working for all the businesses here, especially in times of disaster, like we're going to talk about.
Right, and so your role is volunteer, right?
Exactly.
Excellent.
There's also a whole committee of other volunteers as well. So we have business people and other skilled locals that are part of the local tourism organisation.
And our local tourism organisation, I say our because I'm actually the vice president of our local tourism organisation. We don't receive any funding, apart obviously to run events. We're not connected to the council in any way, and we're not connected to the regional tourism organisation either in terms of funding and receiving money, right?
That's right. So it was formed in the year 2000 by local businesses. They wanted to ensure that they did have a voice because across the region and across the state, the system didn't include a local tourism organisation for them. So they formed their own incorporated body, and it's now been going for 20 years. And through the funding of membership fees and then events, it's continuing, and it's actually a really well supported and busy group to work with.
And if you think about where we're located as well, our council is an hour and a half drive north. And there's one road in and one road out. There is no council chambers here either, and there is the Visitor Information Centre who is connected to the Regional Tourism Organisation, but that's the only office that they have. So our Regional Tourism Organisation gets run out of Gladstone.
That's right.
So we're here today to talk about two natural disasters and I guess our region's response to them. So can you tell us more about when these disasters happen and what happened actually?
So in November and December 2018, we actually experienced approximately 3 weeks of bushfires in the vicinity of Agnes Water in 1770 and Backwell Creek and Deepwater. So the businesses here and the people who are residents here definitely had to go through a very lengthy process of trying to still operate and trying to stay economically afloat, but dealing with severe bushfires. I know at recent times it's happened in other places, but it was rather unprecedented and new for that extended time to happen when it did in November 2018. A year prior to that, a week-long flood event had occurred. So October 2017, there was also a boat that sank and people lost their lives during that incident, and flooding closed the roads for over 5 days to the area. So as you said, one road in, one road out, and here we were, tourism businesses, it's the main industry for this community, trying to figure out how they would continue to operate and make sure that they could stay afloat.
So as DCTC president, you were heavily involved with all the communication aspect during the events and after the events. Can you tell us what role you actually played?
So in both of those times, we found it's so important to make sure that everyone is aware of what's happening. To talk to locals and especially business owners in the area here, we used segmentation and made sure that we were continually providing updates and links to other agencies that can help them in a really targeted fashion. And then it was important to make sure we were sending that information outside of this area. So without council chambers present in the area, with them an hour and a half away, and with some of their employees that are related to disaster management that far away, we kept the line of communication open. We also joined into statewide teleconferences. So as Tourism and Events Queensland and state departments could understand the circumstances, and obviously that flows on to them providing assistance. And in a case like the bushfires, we did end up without any lives lost and with very minimal homes lost because the communication was across the board and people knew what was required.
Good. So you said we had a segmented communication approach. So to explain here, we're not talking calling people up or being on the radio. We're talking about segmented email marketing using not Outlook, but a proper email database. all this was set up way prior to the bushfires. I remember when I came on board, we actually had to go in a physical office to send emails. You know, the password was the same for everything. We changed a lot of that to be ready to market from anywhere, and it really paid off during that time. And that's something that I personally noticed wasn't done by any of the other bodies involved. We probably were the only one to have a segmented media database. We're able to push things to the media or push things to our consumers as well as our local businesses. So that was a real advantage.
All of those systems being in place already is actually what I think was able to take us forward and see through those disasters and, you know, not have a negative and dramatically impacting effect on the community and the businesses and the wider region. Without that communication channel already open and understood within all the levels of government via LTO, and without the segmentation that we had in existence and were already using for general messages on a weekly and monthly basis, we really would have been on the back foot. So making sure that that exists all the time and is maintained is actually, I think, one of the most important things within the role.
Well, I have certainly seen other regions, like I said, in my role in Tourism Tribe, other regions, and, you know, talking to different parties here, we were saying during the event, we need to do that and that. They're like, oh, we can't do that. We don't have a spreadsheet. You know, like, no, for us, it's a 5-minute job. It's all ready. It's press a button, segments by local businesses, industries, people from out of town, and we can send the right message. Because apart from that message being sent online, the only thing that was there is the media. And we all know what the media does. It wasn't, you know, it was, everyone thought our region was closed and was closed for a month after, I guess, during the floods. We had to get that message out that, yes, the road was closed, but no one was in danger. We had all the supplies in town, and it's something that does happen every now and then. And once the road opens, everyone can come back in and it's business as usual.
And in the case of the flooding incident, the media cannot actually get here. So often in other places there's, you know, a live broadcast and it's raining and they are demonstrating what it's like. We have one road in and one road out. And that prevents, you know, whether it's an incident or a disaster they would like to report on or just general other information sharing, prevents them accessing the area. So it's important to make sure those live pieces of video footage and imagery is distributed to the media, because otherwise they don't have the information that is accurate to share. And may therefore share anything.
I remember actually during the floods, I was stuck out for 5 days and Amber was here, but we still managed to get some good media and good information out. It doesn't matter where we physically located to get that information out, as long as all our systems are in the cloud and they're not somewhere where the power's been disconnected.
And that's important, because with the volunteer team of people working within the LTO, every skill set is important. We all have another role to fill in our life as well. So all the skill sets need to be able to access what they can online at any time from any location. And we could deliver that throughout both the floods and the fires in the last couple of years. We also were able to, I guess, impart and correct some things that occurred over time. There was definitely a time during October 2017 where incorrect information was on Facebook. It was posted by the local council saying the road was open. It had not yet been opened. Mixed messages were delivered. People were booked for travelling through a closed road. So that was sorted out within the same 24-hour period, thankfully. But to make sure that accurate information is provided, you know, just is so important, not only to the visitors, who we want safety to be the paramount thing for all of them, but also to the people who are locally in the area trying to run a business and get from here to there.
And I guess we've seen the council is more old school, you know, works through media releases. They would not even put it on Facebook, or they would put it on their Facebook, but none of the operators actually might follow their own Facebook. So us being able to get the message straight into their inbox or onto their Facebook Messenger even was really useful. One last question, Amber. If you were flown in now to help an LTO, a local tourism organisation, a regional tourism organisation, even a council, to recover from the events or the bushfires that happened down south, what would be the first thing that you assess in terms of communication marketing? What would be the first thing that you do?
Well, you said it straight away. Communication is number one. And if there is not an ability to gather the correct information and then disseminate it to the correct audience, you're starting from below zero. So the first thing you would need to do is make sure that those communication systems exist. and that you are disseminating it to the right people. If there's no database of media or local businesses to deliver that information to, and it's not accurate and easily accessible, you have a very big job ahead of you when you're supposed to be working in a really short time frame.
So get the system set up right.
Do it now. Do it yesterday.
I guess, yeah, learn from the army, you know, in different countries. The first thing that they do is set up communication. And that's so many things that do not exist. You might be able to do one-on-one communication, but we're talking one to many with a different message for the different groups of people.
That's right. And, you know, what you tell your consumers during an event that is a disaster, plus what you tell them afterwards when you would like to re-attract them to visit your region, they're different messages to what the business owners need to know, and they're even different messages to what you would like to advocate to your councillors or your state and federal members. All of those are important parts of the chain. However, it must be organised so as the message will get through in a timely manner.
So as a tip, you know, your database needs to be segmented for local businesses, local media, government, and consumers.
Definitely.
I think that's the most important thing. All right, thanks, Amber.
It's a pleasure.
Hopefully there's no new disaster that happens soon in our region, but we're as prepared as can be, and share your tips with us. We'd love to learn more.
Yes.
Bye.
Thank you.